Stalkers, I'm back! So for the past 2 weeks, I've been on vacation. And yes, I'm using the bunny ears of death because my kids didn't have school and I was watching them, and that's not really a vacation. But it made me realize that I've never talked about the differences between vacation in the US and vacation in Belgium and France or Europe in general. So let's talk about vacation. So on a whole, if you're a student, then vacation is pretty much going to be the same, although it is distributed differently. In America, we typically have a week of vacation for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and for Easter. And then the bulk of the vacation came in the summer when you didn't have school. In France though, you had 2 weeks off every other month, and it started in October. So October, December, February, and April. So one of the interesting things about school vacation in France is that it starts differently depending on where you live. There are 3 zones, A, B, and C, and depending on which zone you live in depends when your vacation is going to start and when it will end. And the reason that they do this is to cut back on the traffic for the people who are going on holiday. And as a personal side note, when I was a student in France, I loved the 2 weeks of vacation at first, but near the middle of the year, having 2 weeks off every other month proved difficult in terms of getting back into student life because, you know, I was a student, I was a teenager, I wasn't serious all the time, and that's something I noticed in school is that you have that couple weeks where it's like, oh, okay, I'm back in school, you sort of adapt to study and be serious, but then like vacation would come up again and then you'd start counting down. It's like, oh, we don't need to be too serious, we're gonna have vacation soon. And that's something that was less frequent in America than it was in France. So there's this like part of me that just loved the 2 weeks, and then there was this other part that was like, it was too much vacation. Yeah. Belgium is slightly different. It seems to take France and America and just mash them together. And you have a week of vacation in October, 2 weeks for Christmas. You have a random week in February for the crocus holiday, and then 2 weeks for Easter. And then of course summer vacation. Now all this vacation only applies to students because once you become adult, things change unless you live in Europe. One of the major differences between vacation and something I think most Europeans take majorly for granted is that in America, once you start working, you don't get vacation at all. One of the interesting things that I learned when I first moved to France and started living with my husband was that he had 5 weeks vacation. And that just blew my mind because my mom had been working at the same company for 15 years and she had accumulated, I think at the time it was 11 days of vacation. Today, my mom has maxed out her vacation of 14 days. That's right. The maximum amount of vacation that you can get in the United States is 2 weeks. Now, I don't know if that has changed recently. I don't think it has. Most of my friends who are working in the States don't seem to have more than that. They have a week at best. That's something that's completely different over here. My husband and I, we moved to Belgium. They have a rule that for the first year that you work, you can't go on vacation. However, this seems to be like a courtesy because technically by European laws, all companies have to offer employees 4 weeks of vacation. So yeah, that is something that is completely different. Another random difference that I've noticed is overtime. So typically if you work more hours or if you work on a holiday, you have the chance to either earn more vacation or more money. And in America, we tend to go towards the more money route because money. However, in Europe, most people seem to go for more vacation. And what's interesting is people accumulate a lot of vacation. In fact, my husband's friend has so much vacation that he doesn't take all of it. And I've had conversations about this with my mom and my friends back home, and all of them are like, that must be really nice to have so much vacation that you don't even use it all up. This is one of those topics that I really enjoy discussing with people because my personal opinion is that within the United States, I feel like excessive amounts of vacation have a very negative stereotype. You know, I think as Americans, people really pride themselves on being dedicated, hard-working individuals, and if you're not working, then you don't have a good work ethic and you're not a good employee. Versus in Europe, there's this negative stereotype that if you work too much, then you're neglecting your personal life and you're not being a good person. So that cultural difference of taking something as simple as vacation and how many days you should take is just completely fascinating to me. So my question for you guys would be, where do you live and how much vacation do you typically take in a year? And what would your personal opinion be on people who take less vacation than you and people who would take more vacation than you? Is there a negative connotation associated with either or are there more positive connotations? I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, you can follow me on Twitter. My social links are in the description below. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications, because if your notifications are being like mine, you're not getting them unless you're ringing the bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Tootsies, may applesines. I'm so happy to be back, guys. I really missed you. It's been so long since I've made a video that I can't remember my ending. That's